welcome to Ever Evolving. I'm Marina P. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'm so glad that you're here. On my channel, I talk about skincare, beauty, fragrance, food, travel, faith, fitness, well-being, and everything in between. Today, I'd like to talk about customer service. More specifically, good customer service. Has good customer service become a thing of the past? We all know that the common courtesy of saying please, thank you, and excuse me has become uncommon. But what about good customer service? I'm speaking as someone who has worked in the customer service industry for decades, and I know for a fact that the customer is not always right. But I also know that good customer service feels like it's becoming extinct. And honestly, that's really sad. So what I want to share with you are a few experiences that I had during the past Christmas and New Year holiday season. Now, let me say this. I won't be mentioning any brands. I won't be mentioning any people's names or anything like that because I'm not trying to bash any brands. I'm not trying to bash any people or any person. I am just simply sharing with you the experience of the customer service that these individuals chose to give. My youngest daughter and I stayed at a well-known brand's property in an affluent part of Atlanta. Now, don't get me wrong, just because it's an affluent area, just because it is a Michelin-starred restaurant, just because it is a designer store or a luxury spa, doesn't guarantee that you're going to get excellent customer service. But there is certainly a level of expectation that you have to get at least good customer service. So my daughter and I had been at the hotel for a few days and we now needed some towels. So I called down to the front desk and I put in a request for 4 face towels, 4 body towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 of the shower mat towels. And the lady at the front desk said, "Sure, no problem. We'll get that up to you." I said, "Awesome, thank you." So my daughter and I start moving around, getting ready to really get our day started. So there was a knock at the door. My daughter opens the door and there's a man standing there that has some towels in his hands. He does not speak. He does not smile. All he does is this. So my daughter gets the towels, she closes the door, she hands me the towels. Well, I realized that we're missing a couple of face cloths and a hand towel. So I said to my daughter, "Hey, open the door, see if maybe you can catch the man before he leaves." So she opens the door, the man is gone. But she notices a housekeeper down the hallway with her cart. So my daughter begins to say, "Excuse me, hi ma'am, hello." And then the next thing I know, my daughter closes the door and she says, "Wow." So I asked what was wrong. And she said, "Mom, I was calling out to the housekeeper. She looked me up and down, rolled her eyes, and went back into a room." And I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah, that's what happened." Well, this didn't sit well with me at all. So I decided that I would go down to the cart and wait for the housekeeper. So I opened the door, I start down the hall, and I see her at the cart. So I said, "Hi, ma'am, hello." I'm smiling, I'm waving at her to get her attention. She also looks me up and down, rolls her eyes, and goes back into the room that she's servicing. So I get to the cart and I stand there and I patiently wait for her. After a couple of minutes, I peek into the room and see that she's making up the bed. Well, I look at the cart and I notice that it has what I need. So now I'm debating, am I going to continue to stand here and be patient, or am I going to get what I need and get out? Well, considering that the housekeeper's attitude was so foul, I decided I wasn't going to deal with it because I didn't have to. And quite frankly, old girl didn't want this smoke. So what I did was I got what I needed and I started back down the hall to our room. No sooner do I take 2 steps away from the cart, I hear, "Hey, you can't do that. That's not yours. That doesn't belong to you." And what do you think I did? The same thing she did. I ignored her, just like she ignored us. The only thing I didn't do was turn around, look her up and down, and roll my eyes. So I get back into the room, I put the towels down, I pick up the phone and I call down to the front desk. And it's the same lady that I had spoken to when I made the request for the towels. So I let her know what happened. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Do you know the housekeeper's name?" And I said, "No, I didn't stick around to talk to her because her attitude stank, but this is what she looks like." And she says, "Again, I apologize. I'm sorry that this happened." I said, "Not only was the experience horrible, but it's really disappointing that it's coming from your brand. I said, this is a brand that my family and I are loyal to. We have membership with you, and it's really sad to be treated like this. And she says, yes, ma'am, I understand. I will compensate you for the poor customer service that you received. I will add some points to your account. And again, I do apologize. I said, great, awesome, thank you. Well, we ended up having another not so great customer service experience at this property. My daughter and I had come back to the hotel, and we had stopped by the front desk to ask for some toilet paper and 2 full sets of towels. And the guy at the front desk was like, sure, no problem. I'll let the houseman know and we'll get that right up to you. We're like, great, thanks so much. So we get back to the room, we get settled in, we eat, we watch TV, we're waiting for the towels, and we end up falling asleep. So we wake up from a 2-hour nap. I call down to the front desk and I said, hi. We had stopped by the front desk. We had asked for toilet paper and 2 full sets of towels. And it's been a couple of hours and we still haven't received it. So the guy's like, oh yeah, all right, no problem. I'll let the houseman know and we'll get it right up to you. I said, great. So about 45 minutes later, there was a knock at the door. I opened the door. There's a guy standing there with a roll of toilet paper only. And he doesn't say anything. He doesn't smile. He just does this. So I take the toilet paper. He walks off. I close the door. So I call back down to the front desk, and it's the same guy who answers the phone, and he is so irritated that he had to answer the phone this time. I don't know if I interrupted him being on his phone playing a game, whatever it was, but it was clear that he was irritated. So I said, hey, we got the toilet paper. We did not get the 2 full sets of towels, and we need them. I'll let the houseman know, and we'll bring it up to you. I said, awesome. So about 45 more minutes later, the same guy knocks on the door. I open the door. He does this again. There's never an apology. There's never a smile. Not a word is uttered from his lip. Now, the icing on the cake with that property in general was that the points weren't added. So I'll have to tell you about that in a moment. And the other experience that we had was actually at a restaurant. It was a restaurant that my oldest daughter enjoys going to for breakfast, and she wanted to take her younger sister and her mother to the restaurant. So we were super excited to try it out. She had given it rave reviews. So we get to the restaurant. We are immediately greeted and seated. Once we sit down, we begin to peruse the menu. My oldest daughter makes recommendations. We wait. The waitress comes over. She takes our drink order. We all had ordered juice. My daughters had ordered 2 cappuccinos, and I had ordered a decaf coffee. So after a bit, the waitress comes back with the juices, and she has both of the cappuccinos. She looks at me and says, it's going to be a minute for the decaf because it's brewing. I said, great, no problem. Who complains about fresh coffee, right? So we wait. She finally brings the decaf. She takes our food order. So we chit-chat and laugh and just enjoy each other's company. The waitress comes with our food. After she delivers the food, she walks off. We end up having to wave her down for condiments, and then my oldest daughter wanted an orange juice. So the waitress goes and gets the condiments. She tends to other tables. She's doing other things, but she never brings the orange juice. So we're just talking, finishing up our meal, and my daughter says, hey, they have a fantastic cinnamon roll here. We should order one and share it. So we're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get the cinnamon roll. So the waitress comes by and she puts the check down next to my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter looks at the check, looks at the waitress and says, I didn't ask for this. And the waitress just kind of looks at her. And my daughter says, well, how do you know that I'm done? You didn't even ask me if I wanted anything else. So the waitress says, are you done? And my daughter says, no, we'd like a cinnamon roll. So the waitress picks the check back up. She goes around to some of her other tables, delivers checks, and I kind of just look around at these other tables. You could tell that people were feeling rushed because they hadn't asked for the check and they hadn't been asked they needed anything else. So the waitress comes back with the cinnamon roll, and we're sharing the cinnamon roll and we're enjoying it. And here comes the waitress again with the check. So she sets the check down again by my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter looks at me and my youngest daughter, and we we all look at each other like, is this the Twilight Zone? Are we on candid camera? Like, what is going on? So my oldest daughter looks at the waitress again and says, what are you doing? I didn't ask for the check. The waitress just looked stunned, and I look at her and I said, please get your manager. She reluctantly goes and gets her manager. The manager comes to the table. She is fantastic and wonderful. She really cared about what we had to say. She was professional and she wanted to make things right. She asked if we needed anything else. And my oldest daughter says, I'm still waiting on my orange juice. I asked for an orange juice and my youngest asked for another cappuccino. The manager leaves and she finishes taking care of us. She comped a few things for us and we thanked her for making it right. And then the manager shared with us that they were thinking about letting this particular waitress go, but they were trying to give her a few more days. Well, since that experience, my oldest daughter has been back, and that manager shared with her that they ended up letting that waitress go that same day. With the hotel, there was an issue with having the points added on to the account. My youngest daughter and I leave Atlanta and return back to Dallas, and I noticed that the points have not yet been added to the account. So I called the hotel and I immediately recognized the voice of the lady who answered the phone, because she was the same person that I had spoken to over the phone while I was at the hotel. So I asked for the general manager, and she said that the general manager wasn't available, and asked if there was anything that she could help me with. And I said, no, I would just like to be able to leave a voicemail. I get connected to another line. It rings a couple of times. Then there's a voicemail of a female general manager. So I leave my message and I wait a couple of hours. When I don't hear back from the general manager, I decide to call back again. The same lady answered the phone, and I asked if the general manager was available, and she told me that he wasn't because he was in a meeting. And I said, he? And she says, yes. I said, what is your general manager's name? So she gives me his name. I said, that's interesting, because when I had called earlier and left a message for the general manager, it was a woman's voice. And she says, oh, we recently got a new GM. I said, oh, okay. So she asked if there was anything that she could help me with. And I said, maybe. I said, what is your name? So she gives me her name. And I said, perfect. This is when I stayed at the property. I had had a horrible experience with one of your housekeepers who was very unprofessional. I had called and spoken to you, and you said that you were going to put points onto the account, and the points have yet to be added. I refresh her memory just a little bit more with what happened. She remembers me. She apologizes, and she asks for my name. She asked for my member number, and she asked for the email. So I give her all of the information. She tells me that that member number is not coming up and that that email is not coming up either, which to me was just strange. But I told her, I said, no problem. I said, let me check something real quick and I'll give you a call back. She said, okay, but just to let you know, I'll be leaving soon. I said, not a problem. I'll be calling right back. So I get off the phone. I double check the member number as well as the email address, and I call back in less than 2 minutes. A man answers the phone, and I said, hi, can I please speak with so-and-so? And he says, well, she's not here. And I said, oh, okay. I said, did she already leave for the day? And he says, no, she went to the bathroom. I said, oh, well, I don't mind waiting, because two things. I really didn't mind waiting, but also she knew the entire story. I didn't want to have to go through it all over again. When I tell you that this man copped the biggest attitude, the funkiest attitude, the most stank attitude out of all of them, I mean, just that. He says, well, I can help you. And I said, well, I appreciate that, but I don't mind waiting. He says, ma'am, I'm a manager. I can help you. I don't see why you won't let me help you. I said, okay, great. I need points added onto my member account because of the horrible customer service that I received while I was on your property. And he says, oh, okay, well, let me write down your member number and so can take care of it for you. And I said, no, I'd rather just wait. Well, I am a manager. I can help you. And I said, you're a manager, but you can't access the system to go in and look up the member number and add points? I said, no. I'm fine. I'll just wait. So he puts me on hold. I wait and I wait and I wait. And then the call drops. So I immediately call back, the phone is picked up and hung up. I am like, you've got to be kidding me. This is atrocious. This is crazy. What in the world is going on? So I call back and the same man answers the phone. And I ask for the lady. And he says, ma'am, she is now gone for the day, but I can help you. And I said, can you really help me? He says, yes, please just give me the member number. So I gave him my member number. He said, your points have now been added. Is there anything else that I can help you with? I said, no, there's nothing else. Thank you and have a great day. And then I hung up the phone. Now again, as someone who has been in the customer service game for decades, let me just simply say that if you work in customer service and if your attitude isn't right, or you're not in a good frame of mind, or you're just having a horrible day, or life is lifing, it's okay to not come into work. It's okay to take a moment to breathe and make sure that you are okay just as a person. There's nothing wrong with that. But please, whatever you do, please do not go to work, take up space, think that you are doing a customer a favor by being there and being ugly and unprofessional. When you do go to work with gratitude, thankful that you have a job. Go to work being proud of what you do and give the best service that you can give. Give the type of customer service that you would like to receive. And we all need to open our mouth when we receive good customer service, great customer service, or exceptional customer service, whether it is in person or over the phone. If it's in person, pay that person a compliment, give them praise, ask for their manager so that you can also let them know what an awesome job that employee is doing. And if it's over the phone and you can take a survey at the end, take that minute to take that survey. Give credit where it is due. So what do you think? Do you think that good customer service is a thing of the past? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video and keep evolving.